Hey everyone, today we're going to make some macaroni and cheese. It's not going to be your standard macaroni and cheese. This one's going to be made with pepper jack or habanero jack in this case, cheddar cheese. I got a little bit of Dubliner that I'm going to use. Penne pasta. I didn't have any elbow macaroni laying around, so penne pasta should be fine. Some Ritz crackers, cayenne pepper, Cajun seasoning, chopped onion, Worcestershire, and the butter. And I'll take you along to show you how I'm going to do this. So what I shot for with this one is about 10 ounces of the cheddar cheese that's on the right. I shot for a little more than 5 ounces of the Dubliner cheese, and then a little less than 5 ounces of the pepper jack. In this case it was habanero jack, just because that habanero flavor is such a strong flavor. So I got that all grated up. I'll show you what's next in a few moments. So now on the stove, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start melting down the butter, and then I'm going to have to add the 3/4 cup of flour in with the butter. You're going to have to keep that stirring. After all of that's together, once you've made, I guess, what they call a roux, you're going to start combining in and melting in your cheese. While you're doing that, depending on how long you think it's going to take for your noodles to get done, you're going to want to drop your noodles in the boiling pot of water that's on the right here and start cooking your noodles. You don't want them to be overdone as far as your noodles. You want them to be still firm, al dente as they say, where they're not going to get all nasty when you end up baking them a little later. I also got my oven preheating, or already preheated, to 375, so when we drop this all into a casserole pan, we'll be able to start baking right away. So now we're starting. We got our butter melted, so we're going to add our 3 cups of milk and slowly start whisking in the 3/4 cups of flour. Once the flour and butter is fairly well combined, you want to keep whisking it and start slowly adding in your cheese and melt down all of your cheese into one thick mixture. It might take about 10 minutes of whisking and adding the cheese to get it all together to make that good cheese sauce. While you're mixing and combining it too, you're gonna wanna start adding in the spices you want, which in our case is the teaspoon of onion powder, the teaspoon of cayenne, salt and pepper as you want it, and the tablespoon of Worcestershire. So we're going to go about a teaspoon of this Cajun spice, a teaspoon of the cayenne pepper, somewhere between a teaspoon and a tablespoon of the chopped onion, and a tablespoon of the Worcestershire sauce. For the noodles, we ended up actually using 2 of those 17-ounce packages of the Penne noodles, because the cheese sauce, there's just so much cheese sauce. I should have thought of that before I started this. We're coming to the end of making the cheese sauce here. It's got pretty much the perfect consistency, and our noodles are almost done here also. And so what you want to do is, once you have your noodles drained, you want to take a big pot, pour your noodles back into the pot, and then pour your cheese sauce into the pot also. And then once you got the cheese sauce in there with the noodles, you want to stir them around really good and let the cheese sauce make its way inside of the noodles also. These noodles are a little obviously bigger than elbow macaroni noodles, so it might not work as well because the noodles will crunch up in the middle, but you should still get a pretty good result here. And so now we have our casserole dish buttered up, and we're gonna put our cheesy noodle concoction in there. And then with the cheese noodle concoction in there, we got the crackers all broken up in the container that they come in, the bag they come in. And I'm just gonna spread them around on top of the dish. And now we're gonna put this in the oven at 375. We're gonna shoot for maybe 30 minutes at the most. You don't want to see this stuff starting to burn up on the top here. And so it took about 25 minutes in the oven, and it started to get nice and golden on the top. The noodles here started to get crispy, and from the few I've pulled off the sides, it's definitely good. And now we're gonna have the taste test. It's really good. It's not terribly hot. It's certainly not spicy. And it's got that good stick to your bones texture. It's really good. I would make this